Welcome back to Two Beers Until Phronesis, a philosophy podcast by students and graduates. This episode is the second part in a series on Blade Runner, focusing mainly on the recent film, Blade Runner 2049, as we discuss some of its key themes over a few beers. Enjoy! So this is the second part of our discussion on Blade Runner. We're going to talk now about Blade Runner 2049, the sequel. I think we like that a lot more than we did the first. What were our initial thoughts?
Immediately what you notice from the second one is it's a lot more fast-paced. But, I can't really put my finger on why it's so better paced, because there's not a huge amount more going on in the second one than there is in the first one.
I think
it just seems to work better.
I think that, the where the action scenes are placed helps that a lot, but I think it's also to do with the fact that we're more engaged with what the characters are doing and why. We're introduced to Ryan Gosling. From the get-go, we know he's a replicant. I think he's just a much better and more engaging character than Deckard. At least Deckard in the first film.
Yeah.
We'll briefly outline the plot, which is a lot harder, I think, because there's
twists and turns.
There are a little bit more going on. So, what is it, 30 years after? Ryan Gosling plays Kay, who is a replicant.
/ Joe.
Who is a replicant, but he's also a Blade Runner. He hunts older models.
Yeah.
And
a lot has happened in these 30 years.
Yeah, so there's been a big blackout of knowledge. Things have kind of recovered a tiny bit, but mostly everything's the same. Like there's farming and things going on.
The Tyrell Corporation's gone.
Yeah, it's the Wallace Foundation or whatever it is, which sounds like a charity.
Yeah, and now replicants are being used on Earth.
Yeah.
Because they're safer, I guess. They're more susceptible to control.
Yeah.
And their job is to hunt old.
Yeah, he says my kind don't run.
Yeah.
When he's talking to an older replicant.
How does it feel killing your own kind? I don't retire my own kind because we don't run. Only older models do. And you new models are happy scraping the shit. Because you've never seen a miracle.
Yeah, so it begins with him going to a farm.
Is it a worm farm?
So it's a protein farm, yeah. He's farming worms. And Dave Bautista, who is a wrestler.
He's an actor.
He's an actor, yeah. He plays Drax the Destroyer from
he's my favourite character.
Guardians of the Galaxy. What, in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah.
So yeah, he goes to retire at Dave Bautista, and Dave Bautista is killed, and he's been sort of punched in the throat a couple of times after he says that.
You've never seen a miracle.
So and he finds a few clues at the farmhouse.
I'll buy that last one. Over here, a clue. Look, I found a key in this old chest.
Basically discovers that a replicant, spoilers, is Sean Young's character from the first film. She's been buried.
Yeah, they find the bones of...
They find her bones, and they find that somebody tried to do a C-section,
yeah,
and that she had a child. So Kay is ordered to destroy the child.
King Herod style,
because it's going to upset the balance of everything completely. It's going to tip the world over if people realise that replicants...
what does she say? Break the world, destroy the world? Or something?
Barriers or something. It'll destroy barriers that exist to keep us safe.
The world is built on a wall that separates kind. Tell either side there's no wall, you bought a war. Or a slaughter.
Kind of extreme utilitarian thinking, for the greater good of order, kill a kid.
It is my job to keep order. That's what we do here. We keep order.
So he sets off to find the identity of the child, and he has this AI kind of
girlfriend,
Cortana, Alexa
style thing.
Yeah, who basically is like the dream.
What's her name? Joy.
Joy, yeah. She's the dream wife, basically. She's like a hologram, and through conversations with her and through revelations and a memory that he thinks was an implant, he finds out the memory was real. He takes his memory to a memory maker, and she tells him that
she's the one who designs memories for robots.
Yeah. She says, no, this memory's real. So he knows that his memory is a real one.
Yeah.
So at that point we're in the film, we're contemplating whether it's his memory.
I always knew you were special. Maybe this is how. A child of woman born, pushed into the world, wanted, loved.
And if it were true, I'd be hunted for the rest of my life by someone just like me.
It's okay to dream a little.
And he's actually...
He
thinks
Yeah.
that
he's the child.
So he thinks he's the first replicant offspring.
Yeah.
So as he finds this out, he's called in by the police,
Mm.
and he does his check to make sure it was cogs.
It's
are
not
working.
void camp anymore, is it?
Yeah, it's like that
Baseline.
baseline test. Yeah, so he has to repeat a bunch of words while being
Within
asked.
cells interlinked.
Within cells interlinked. Within cells interlinked.
Cells.
Cells.
Have you ever been in an institution? Cells.
Cells.
Do they keep you in a cell? Cells.
Cells.
When you're not performing your duties, do they keep you in a little box? Cells.
Cells.
Interlinked.
Interlinked.
What's it like to hold the hand of someone you love? Interlinked.
Interlinked.
Do they teach you how to feel finger to finger? Interlinked.
Interlinked.
Do you long for having your heart interlinked? Interlinked.
Interlinked.
Do you dream about being interlinked?
Interlinked.
What's it like to hold your child in your arms? Interlinked.
Interlinked.
Do you feel that there's a part of you that's missing? Interlinked.
Interlinked.
Within cells, interlinked.
Within cells interlinked.
He has to repeat all these words while he's being asked emotional questions, like what's it like to hold the hand of someone you love,
Yeah.
and he doesn't do it very well. Yeah, and so he goes on the run. The police officer woman lets him go, so he goes to find
His dad.
his dad.
Yeah.
They have a bit of a chat.
Here he is.
Too many questions. I had your job. I was good at it.
It was simpler then.
Why are you making it complicated?
Why don't you just answer the question?
What question?
I didn't figure you as one for bullshit. What's her name?
Rachel. Her name was Rachel.
Because the Wallace Corporation is desperately trying to create life in this way.
So they want Harrison Ford to.
Yeah, they want the child, so they steal Harrison Ford.
Joy is destroyed because she's on a little
It's like a vape
pipe.
pen.
Yeah, vape. She's stored on a vape pen, and that's crushed. The leader of a replicant movement,
Yeah.
which I think isn't that well set up. It's very in the background the whole time. The payoff isn't great because she's a very good
It
actress.
was a little bit out of nowhere, didn't it?
Yeah, I think that felt like setting up for a sequel. Or something. It's
I think it is.
yeah, I thought it was. Not anymore.
It might be.
Well,
30 years' time.
Yeah, another 30 years. Ryan Gosling can be old man Ford.
Yeah.
Old
And they
man.
can dig up Harrison Ford's bones.
Yeah, so
This man died giving birth.
it's the most man to have.
He died under the stress of every franchise he's been in.
He died after he watched the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Nice.
So the leader of this replicant movement, she reveals to Kay he's not the fucking chosen one. He's not the son of a replicant, and that
Did you think he was? When you were watching it the first
Yeah.
time, did you buy into it?
I think I did by
I didn't. I never did.
I thought I was full.
Straight away, I was thinking this is somebody else's memory.
But I totally bought into his reaction to it. I thought that was fucking great. And as he's walking along, he sees
Because his world has just been destroyed.
yeah. He sees a big advertisement of Joy. This blank slate, big naked advertisement refers to him as Joe. Just to rub salt into the wounds.
Yeah.
That she has no memory of him. He's not her. It's not his.
You look like
Joy.
an average Joe or something.
Yeah, and he's just like, oh fuck yeah, that everything was a lie.
What a day. You look lonely. I can fix that. You look like a good Joe.
So instead of killing Deckard like he was ordered to, he saves Deckard in a moment of trying to carve his own identity. And I think that payoff that act of compassion works a lot better than
Yeah.
the act of compassion that builds up in the first one.
I don't know why he saved me.
So yeah, what did we think of Blade Runner 2049?
I think I was much more invested. Kind of the same bait and switch. If we're taking it that Harrison Ford is a replicant, at the end of the film you're like, oh my god, he's a replicant. But in this one it's, oh my god, he's a human. Oh my god, he's not human.
Yeah.
That's just blurring the lines between human and replicant even more.
I think, same as the first film, it doesn't ultimately matter because his identity was never through any of that. It was through his choice at the end to save Harrison Ford. That was what defined him. I don't know why he saved him. There's a lot more going on with colour as well, but still manages to be quite bleak.
It's a brilliant film.
Yeah, it's every shot is incredible. The use of scale models again is really refreshing to see a new film do that. It's just
Rogue One did that.
Yeah.
Or
So did The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Well, let's say about that a bit.
But yeah, so we'll talk about the themes
a
lot more now that we've gone through the plot. And
You want to go for a ride?
First thing I wanted to throw up is the film Blindism.
Why have you written it?
Well, because Eyes are the window to the soul, and the antagonist...
The eyes of a child.
Is blind as hell.
Yeah, he's blind. The antagonist in the second film
Blindism.
he's got no fucking eyes. It's like...
I would ask any blind person who's seen the film. Oh wait.
Oh no. I think Wallace is a really interesting character. He's got this big reliance on technology. He uses these little things to see.
Nanobot things.
I think that ties in with the biblical stuff a lot more, which works a lot better in this film.
Yeah.
An angel should never enter the kingdom of heaven without a gift.
The idea that he's hubristic, he's kind of conquered nature and conquered fertility and female reproduction. It sets him up as a proper antagonist kind of thing.
Can I ask a question? Does the ability to reproduce make the replicants more human than human?
Well, I was thinking about
the way they're built is like idyllic Western culture beauty standards, right?
Yeah.
These replicants are like bloody Dave Bautista, who's built like a fucking brick house.
Well, I don't know.
Are you mad?
Yeah, he is, but like, I don't know if they're...
Yeah, but Roy's blonde.
Yeah?
So in the first one, that guy with the moustache, the guy at the very start,
I guess.
does a body count test, and he's like, what's a turtle?
You're in a desert, walking along in the sand when all of a sudden...
Is this the test now?
Yes, you're in a desert, walking along in the sand when all of a sudden you look
What one?
What?
What desert?
Doesn't make any difference what desert. It's completely hypothetical.
But how come I'd be there?
Maybe you're fed up. Maybe you want to be by yourself. Who knows? You look down and you see a tortoise, Leon. It's crawling towards
Tortoise? What's that?
you. You know what a turtle is?
Of course.
Same thing.
I've never seen a turtle. But I understand what you mean.
You reach down, you flip the tortoise over on its back, Leon.
Do you make up these questions, Mr. Holden? Or do they write them down for you?
The tortoise lays on its back, its belly baking in the hot sun, beating its legs, trying to turn itself over, but it can't. Not without your help. But you're not helping.
What do you mean I'm not helping?
I mean you're not helping. Why is that, Leon?
Yeah, he's
I think he's designed to lift
Shit.
Yeah, to lift things basically. He's a pump truck.
Yeah.
And Pris is a
pleasure model.
Yeah, for soldiers.
Yeah.
Off-world, I think.
Yeah. First of all, they're built as the idyllic human in the human form, and now they can reproduce. So they're basically just a higher form of life.
So the ability to reproduce. So you mentioned that. I was thinking when you said that about. Have you seen the film Children of Men?
Yeah.
The way that have you seen it, Joe?
No, I haven't.
So
really, do you want any quick facts?
No.
I can fire off a couple.
Don't. I don't. We've had enough of your facts. Basically, it's really good. It's an early noughties film starring Clive Owen.
I'm gonna say 2003. The idea is that
it's like a road trip kind of thing. It's a
dystopia. We can't give birth anymore. There's no
humans stop
the possibility to give birth.
Giving birth, and society just goes fucking nuts.
And the youngest human dies.
Yeah,
the 18-year-old.
Yeah,
at the start.
He's like a celebrity and he's a cunt.
Yeah.
2006, man.
Oh, you're fucking joking.
So it's interesting there how losing the ability to reproduce.
Mm.
But I think that's more in that film. It's more of a cultural. It's almost like nothing matters. It's like when people say, "Oh, you've got a day to live," and people go nuts.
Oh, and the whole point of it is that there is one woman who can.
Yeah, that's why it's like a
and
road
they're
trip.
trying to get her to safety.
Because she's black and Britain is like a xenophobic, horrible.
Yeah, they're deporting every foreigner.
Because everyone is trying to get into Britain because the rest of the world's on fire. Because Britain's an island, it's just about managed to be okay, but it's not.
It's intentionally reminiscent of the Holocaust.
Okay.
The way that the people in cages.
Yeah.
And people being ripped out of their homes and stuff like that.
Right.
The big insinuation is that religious people just go nuts over this idea. They think that everyone's being punished, that God has made everybody barren and unable to reproduce because he's displeased with us. Science goes fucking crazy, everyone's looking for answers.
People are bombing shit. The first scene is him buying a cup of coffee and the coffee shop he was just in explodes.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, rough day.
Nice one.
The government are giving out suicide kits.
Fuck no.
Two other decent sci-fi films from Philip K. Dick novels, Total Recall and Minority Report.
Mightn't happen to have a piece of cheese about you now. Would you, boy?
I don't know, because we don't have two species on this planet. So we only have one. So replicants can't reproduce, but then they're surrounded by humans that can. So society largely goes on as it is. It's not really this big breakdown like Children of Men. But I think, it does have to kind of redefine what it means to be human. A lot of people think that the legal definition of marriage, because it does technically in law, at least it did, I'm not sure if it still does. A lot of people think it has to do fundamentally with the ability to raise children together. Or at least if you were in the best of health, raise children together. That's the point of marriage, is to give that foundation. It's a very traditional view. That's defining relationships in terms of offspring. And I think a lot of things are defined, are built around that, for better or worse. I'm not sure if I agree with that at all, but I think the ability to have kids is probably a large part of identity.
The fact that they now can
gives them a kind of power.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's completed the one thing they couldn't do was create new life and life outside of a test tube. Because there is a scene where Wallace is in trying to make a replicant that can give birth. You see a replicant being born out of just a packet, and she just slides onto the floor.
It's like Tilda Rice, isn't it?
Yeah. She's like, wax, goes straight on the floor, covered in goo.
It's not nice.
And now they don't have to be born like that. They have control over their own life.
The idea of being raised as well is
because that's the only thing that humans had an advantage over, I guess.
Yeah.
They're
Natural.
natural.
Because I think in terms of it would give them control of their own destinies because they'd be able to raise each other, but they seem to think that just the idea would fundamentally make
I think
people.
It would.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think it would.
I think in terms of other themes, you have this question of reality. Are his memories real? Was his relationship real? Are replicants real humans? And what does real mean? And the way it asks that and the way it answers it is quite nuanced. It's not like too simplistic.
Is it real? I don't know. Ask him.
Oh. You don't like real girls.
A real boy needs a real name. Joe.
I know what's real. I know it's real.
And as well as the question of reality, you've got meaning in like a more existential kind of sense. So like at first there's this like narrative about order and kind of utilitarian, and it turns into like, I don't know, like Kantian, control versus self-sacrifice, corporate versus meaningful. Instead of the whole Herod stuff, he's willing to put his own life on the line. It's quite a nice arc with some real ethics behind it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where he comes from, it's who he chooses to be. He rejects order and imposition
in a world otherwise devoid of humanity, I think.
Yeah.
There's this charge that's often given to the film that it's misogynistic.
Mm-hmm.
Both films, in fact.
This is from The Guardian, October the 9th, 2017, so after it was initially released. Blade Runner 2049 has a woman problem, cried the internet this weekend. Tweets and blogs cite the fact that female characters were treated as sex objects and that the narrative was almost entirely driven by men. Outrage quickly spread, including from those who had not yet seen the film. Understandably, Joy has been called a sci-fi fanboy's wet dream. Her owners' emotional demands dictate whether she is sexy, in a sexy or demure mode. Flashback to Arnold Schwarzenegger creating his dream girl in Total Recall. Have you seen that? He makes his dream girl. She's titty. How are we supposed to admire a hero whose key relationship is with a woman of his own creation? He will submit to his every demand and can be switched off as he pleases. I was reminded of a highly problematic scene in the original, in which Deckard strong arms replicant Rachel into kissing him.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier that there's that forced kissing scene, and it's just a tit, isn't there? It just pops out.
Just for no reason, isn't it?
So yeah, one of the.
Well, it's true though, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's funny, but
I love it when people describe tits as popping out.
like there's some kind of spring involved.
Yeah.
It doesn't pop out. It's already out.
That's just your eyes popping out.
So one of the replicants. I don't know why I was thinking the word preface.
One of the penis cunts. I mean,
one of the replicants is a erotic dancer or something. She has sex with a snake at some live event.
She's not even the.
We don't. Yeah, she's not the pleasure model. I don't know why.
She's not the pleasure model. She's like the.
You don't see the snake.
Service model.
It's implied, isn't it?
It's implied.
Like, no, she will do a miraculous thing with a snake.
And Harrison Ford comes in the room and he puts on
his voice.
Hi, I'm from the Ethical Association. Why is he doing that?
Oh, that voice he puts on.
Yeah.
He's trying to be a nerd, isn't he?
Because he's the best Blade Runner around.
Yeah.
I'm here to talk about animal welfare.
Skilled. No, he's there to talk about like women's welfare. He's like, oh, has anybody asked you to do anything unsavoury?
Inappropriate, yeah.
And then she's like,
I just fucked a snake, mate.
What? Like, I don't know. I don't know if that's a comment on misogyny or that's just they were thinking, oh, Harrison Ford, we can show him donning a disguise and being a good investigative detective, and it's like, I don't know which that is, a commentary or him being a super sleuth. I don't really know. But
I think sleuth. I think probably sleuth.
So in the second one, so I'll preface this with an anecdote. So I was in the pub, Philosophy Society.
I was there.
Yeah, were you?
Yeah, you keep editing me out of this story.
Right.
I was pissed out of my fucking... Anyway.
Right, so our lecturer said to us that Blade Runner, he found it incredibly misogynistic. He was just like, oh, it was a fantastic film, what did you think, Connor? I was like, oh yeah, I liked it. And he was like, yeah, misogynistic though, wasn't it? So I don't know why there was all this random misogyny in it. So we'll go through the examples one by one, I think. So the one example he said was his girlfriend that wasn't a girlfriend, that was a computer-generated fantasy. Joy.
Alexa.
She was too perfect. Why was his girlfriend literally the male vision that
had his dinner on the table as he came in?
Kept changing outfits into increasingly revealing clothes when things got more intimate, and just told him everything you ever wanted to hear. It was super supportive. It's just that's exactly the point, and that gets subverted later on. It's reverting misogyny. It's saying misogyny is not good. It's saying that that's not a realistic idea of a woman. Well, that was never real.
I'm so happy when I'm with you.
You don't have to say that.
Why wasn't Kay gay?
Yeah, that was the other thing. It would have been so much better if Kay was gay. How would that have been better? I mean, politically it might have been better, but I'm all for gay character. I don't know why we haven't. But don't make a big thing of it. Because that's the point. That's the point in equality. Being gay is not a tokenistic quirk. It's normal. What's the statistic?
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of these gay fellas running around.
I heard them say it's 1 in 3.
Unless the theme is about being different or wanting normalisation, being part of a subculture or being part of somebody, people that are oppressed.
Kind of is though.
Yeah, and that people that are oppressed are women, because this is a dystopia.
Yeah.
And because we obviously have to look at it and go, that's a dystopia. We have to make that connection somehow. Because it's a sci-fi world, they have to use real-world examples. So rather than go, okay, this is a world in which black people are the oppressors and white people are the state, they're just going to use what we already identify as bad elements to show us that it's... So they're not going to randomly have it be a matriarchy. We need to give you the visual clues and the thematic clues that this is a dystopia through not just visuals, but through the narrative. So we're just going to add in misogyny. Aside from, his fake girlfriend is fake. Okay?
Another of his points was the amount of boobs that popped out everywhere.
What do you think about that?
I think it's the same argument. The bit with Joy, when she calls Kay Joe, like the advert.
Yeah.
Which is like, average Joe. Not only is that telling of a dystopia, the fact that she's just a big naked woman walking around.
Yeah.
But it's also a vital...
It's just a big advert.
Yeah. But it's also a vital part of his narrative.
Yeah.
Because
it's a character-defining moment, yeah.
I don't think it's misogynist.
The other bit was when Wallace births that woman out of a packet rice.
And she's naked.
She's naked, standing there shivering, sort of not really knowing where she is. And he has a look at her through his nanobots. I don't know if he needs to inspect it or he just wants
He just gives it a feel, doesn't he? He grabs it.
I don't know, does he have to touch her tit, is he?
No, not a tit. Her stomach.
Yeah, and then... Have you on about tits?
No.
And then... well, he just gives it a feel. Anyway, and then he cuts open her stomach and she just dies in front of him. And
because he's trying to say she's prego.
Yeah, it's like... lecturer was just like, why did he cut open a woman's stomach? I was like, well, because were you not watching? Because he wants to be pregnant, and he went, oh, okay. What was the other scene? When Joy gets that woman, and they sort of merge bodies.
Yeah.
The hologram merges onto the real woman, the prostitute, and then they have sex. Well, we don't see that, but...
Thought you weren't interested. Murky man.
You liked her, I could tell. It's okay. She's real. I want to be real for you.
You are real for me.
You're a special lady here.
What's going on there, Joe? I didn't understand.
What do you mean?
What was that, Lou?
What you don't understand?
Themes.
Don't know. There. Joe?
I'm clearly too drunk to carry on.
I think that scene is about him experiencing something that's real, but at the same time experiencing something that isn't, and having conflicted feelings over that, basically.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the strong women in the film, of which there are fucking many. The police chief is a woman. The leader of the replicant resistance is a woman.
I held her as she died. We hid the child and made a vow to keep our secret. That's why Sapper let you kill him. I knew that baby meant we are more than just slaves. If a baby can come from one of us, we are our own masters.
More human than humans.
A revolution is coming.
Yeah.
The real child
is a woman.
And she's one of the most three-dimensional characters. For the short time we see her, the scene with her is so jarring to the rest of the film because obviously there's, as she's making the memories, there are trees and shit.
Yeah. She's making happiness.
Yeah, she's making. It's one of the only scenes with genuine happiness.
She's the Immaculate Conception, isn't she?
Yeah.
Basically,
I mean,
she's like.
She's the thing that drives the plot. And so the very final thing that my lecturer said was one of the physical antagonists. So not Wallace, but what's her name? Love. That she was just this sadistic, horrible person, and she's clearly much more three-dimensional than that. And this idea that, the idea that a fictional character has to represent a subculture or a demographic, like perfectly. They're a fictional character, they don't have to represent anything. They have to represent the character they're playing. Fairy Tale of New York says the word faggot in it. It's written through the eyes of a character who says the word faggot. That doesn't mean that that's necessarily a good thing to say. No, it's ridiculous that anybody could think there's misogyny. It's so much more three-dimensional than that, and when there is misogyny, it has a narrative reason to be there, and usually that narrative reason is to define misogyny. It's like films like 12 Years a Slave, claiming that's racist because it has racism in it. Totally not the point.
That's a good comparison.
Yeah. But the fact that one of the women is a prostitute, I mean, she's not a prostitute, that's a cover, because she's a replicant.
She's a spy.
She's a replicant spy working for another woman who is a...
Is she a replicant?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
So I guess one thing we haven't mentioned is the music, because I really like the soundtrack. I think like the score from Vangelis and the score from Hans Zimmer for the second film are pretty much on par, different but decent. And I guess they feed into the philosophical themes a little bit. Like the track when we see Wallace is really ominous. It's got this male choir, kind of feeds into the fact that he's a demagogue and got the kind of pseudo-religious vibe going on. And of course it's so atmospheric as well. Okay, before we get any more drunk or the conversation derails anymore.
Yeah, you had a point about how the second film just drops all the Asian stuff, like the city speak, like the weird language. It's like a hybrid of 30 other languages.
Yeah, so in the first one, there was a lot of... I don't know... Is it an attempt to try and talk about globalisation or anything?
Yeah, I think it's like multiculturalism just like gone mental. There's like no discernible culture or nations. Everything's just stuck together. I don't know if that's like a commentary on... Is that part of
some kind of Japanese, Spanish, German mix?
Yeah.
Was that like a commentary on that a dystopia has no identity?
Maybe.
Or was it...
Maybe it was just in Chinatown the whole time.
Yeah, the whole thing's set in Chinatown.
But that's dropped from the second one.
Yeah, well,
I like the fact that it keeps a lot of the Japanese companies that it had in the original in the background and stuff, like Atari and stuff, and it keeps continuity by keeping some of the companies that actually went under in real life that it predicted would be really big in the year 2019.
There's a Japanese logo.
Is it the guy from...
There's one of the hotels, isn't there, at the end?
Yeah.
There's that black guy trying to sell him real wood or whatever.
Oh,
or a horse or something.
from Captain Phillips.
Yeah. The Somali
He's in
guy.
there. I guess.
Yeah, there's bits, but it doesn't seem as prevalent.
Are there any black people in the first one?
Not that I know of. I can't think of any. It's just strange because it's a trope for sci-fi to imagine that a lot of the time. It was a big thing in Star Trek to have a
Black woman.
Yeah, a black woman.
On-screen kid.
Yeah. But also The Matrix just has a massive amount of black people in Zion.
Yeah, because there's a lot of like weird Rastafari like stuff. They've all got like dreadlocks, and it's Zion. And there's a lot of like.
But there's also two albino white people with dreadlocks.
The twins.
So kind of undermines it all. Anyway, I think on that note we'll say goodbye. So have fun. Cheers. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this conversation. We're getting a bit more on track since that Christmas episode where you went a bit mental.
27th of December, man. Everyone's going for a walk.
Did you go for a walk?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you have a nice Christmas after?
No.
Oh.
I had a very nice Christmas, thank you.
Okay, that's good. That was the opposite way around to which I thought it would be. Considering how much you ranted at the end of that podcast.
Yeah, no. I've changed my mind. Christmas was great this year. Complete 360. How about yourself?
Yeah, it was very quaint, very nice.
Nice, good. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah, sorry.
No, mine was fine. I'm joking.
Yeah. Right, catch you later, alligator.
That's the worst.
Do that again.
Bye.